Alright, so I'm trying something different today. I've been making live videos to show you guys that I'm doing this with you, I'm making mistakes just like you, that this is something that we can all do and you shouldn't feel awkward or ashamed about it. It's one of the reasons I'm focusing on live videos. Today I'm making a recording that I'm going to upload for quality reasons. The live videos, the Facebook Live thing is only able to record at a certain quality, and I've noticed that sometimes it'll have breaks in it or there'll be issues with quality. So I'm going to try this. You let me know what you think. You want to stick with live videos? We'll stick with live videos. It doesn't confront me none either way. Or if these recordings are a higher quality and you'd rather have the high quality videos, let me know so we can keep with the right ones. Today I have my son helping me out. Take a bow, Jube. That's my son, Jube. Hello. Now I've been talking with a bunch of concepts, and let's review core concepts, right? We've got our 4 core concepts we're remembering. We lead with the edge. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. We step back when we parry. We extend, lunge, parry, then recover. And we play using our sense of touch, our sense of feel, right? And we're going to go into that one a little bit more today. Now, I've got us both with swords, and as I've told you before, if you don't have a sword, if you're practicing with a stick or whatever you have around, you can. It's still good practice. It's better than sitting at home during quarantine doing nothing, right? Use what you have. But now I'm going to show you why I'm using swords for today and why it's always better to use a sword when you have a sword. So, swords have an edge and they have a flat, right? This is the nature of swords so that they can cut. Now we're using safe blades. They're baited blades. They're not designed to cut people. But the fact that they have an edge gives them a physics that you want to be aware of. So flat part of the blade will always bend, and the edge part of the blade does not. Real quick. I've got here a historical sword my brother got for me. Now, this one, on the edge of the blade, it still bends. I'm sorry, the flat of the blade, it still bends, right? Not as much as my practice blade, but you see it still does. And the sharp side, the edge of the blade, gotta grab that a little different, does not, right? This is a real sword mechanic that you have to be aware of, because it's going to affect how we're going to do our moves today. So before we've talked about the bind and the gain, right? And today I'm hoping to give you a better visualization of how to do a bind and how to do a gain, okay? So how this mechanic works, remember we're playing by feel, right? Okay, Jebs, we have limited space, we got the short sword, so stand in that corner in front of the breastplate, and give me an on guard and a high guard. Now we are already way too close because of our limited space, got it? So I'm gonna have to adjust how we're doing this to make sure we're able to practice in our limited environment. So go ahead and put your feet together and still hold your sword in front of you. Now, before I go on, common sense precaution, got it? This is a sword. This can go into your eye, face, and hurt you. Mostly you're worried about your eyes, okay? You can lose teeth, you can break a nose, but mostly you're worried about eyes. You don't want to lose an eye. They're expensive, they're not fun to lose, and this is a horrible time to have to go to the doctor, okay? So we're going to be doing things out of range of each other while we're practicing, right? I can't even hit them if I try. Make sense? So if you're using a partner, be smart about it. If you're going, and we'll do more drills as we go on, make sure you wear personal protective gear that makes you feel comfortable doing this. I've got safety goggles, okay? I'm not gonna lose an eye if I'm wearing those. Most of you who do this fencing stuff, you've got a mask. If you're doing drills where your face gets involved in any way, wear a mask. I don't wanna have to tell you these things, but as a responsible adult, I have to. So make sure you're wearing the protective gear that makes you feel comfortable, and make sure you're always aware of these issues when you are training, right? If it hurts when you're doing it, stop doing it. If you think you're gonna hurt yourself doing it, wear the right protective equipment, okay? All right, Jebs, hold your sword out for me. Now, put it at about here so I have enough room to work with it. Now, again, sword mechanics, we're gonna use the edge. We're gonna use the edge. And there's some important sword leverage points we wanna be aware of. you've got this part of your sword, which we refer to as the feeble or the weak, right? And we've got this part of the sword, which we refer to as the forte or the strong. Some people call this middle part the mezzo, the medium, right? As long as you are aware that distally, when you get farther away, it is weaker, and proximally, when you get closer to your hand, it is stronger, right? That's the leverage points of your sword. We're going to be using those mechanics when we gain and when we bind. So real quick, I'm just going to show you guys again how a bind works, and then we'll change the angle to see if we can get you a better angle for how the bind works. So, holding your sword next to your body. So the mechanics of a bind are based on a few things. Number one is our opponent's initial reaction to having their blade touched. When I touch my opponent's blade, the first thing my opponent does, now notice we're still touching, right? The first thing my opponent's instinct is to do is to resist. So I can't just push them offline. They fight to keep their blade online. So I'm going to abuse this mechanic combined with leverage. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I give you the move outside. And remember, this is not a move. This is a concept. We don't learn moves, we learn concepts. You'll find yourself in this situation, you'll use it as necessary. All right. So, first part of it. And again, I'm using bind because we've already done it. Then I'll show you the concept for a gain, and then I'll show you the importance of play by feel. The importance of play by feel. Okay, so coming around my opponent's blade, this is bind in 6. I'm coming to a 6, right? Now I would begin this out of range, but again, limited workspace, so I'm working with what I got. I'll come around my opponent's blade. Now I have to place more of my forte. Am I all the way down here? No. On more of their feeble. Am I all the way up here? No. They're going to just slip off. You got to get this sweet spot here. More of my forte on more of their feeble. Got it? Okay. So again, on guard. I'm going to come around my opponent's blade and engage on that part of their blade. If they stay here, play by feel, I extend my sword and I begin my lunge. Got it? If you can get that far, you get a free shot. But you have to get that feel, on guard. Same concept I showed you before. If they're lower, you can get that same move coming around the top of their sword. And again, notice I'm going for that same mark. Mostly my, more of my feeble on more of my forte on more of their feeble, right? Getting more strong leverage on their weak leverage. On guard. And that works even if they are in a high guard. You can do this from a high position, right? Getting that far, beginning the extension. So let me show it to you from another angle. Just face that way. I don't know how much of this we're going to get. We'll give it a try. So again, you want to start out of range. As I enter range, I come around my opponent's blade, gaining more of their forte on more of my feeble, making that extension to get the lunge, right? On guard jumps. Same thing if I'm coming in for a 7, coming over their top, beginning out of range, entering range, coming over my opponent's blade to get that same leverage point. If I get that far, I can make the lunge. Hold your blade up like we're fighting, right? If you were really worried about me stabbing you, right, and I came in to hit you, you would resist, just like that. So on guard, if you're worried about that, and I come in and I get that initial perspective right there, I gain leverage. On guard, same thing coming over the top, right? If I come over the top and get that far, and you resist, I get that free shot. Don't get your offhand. Okay, so we've gone over bind. Now let me show you gain. On guard. And again, we got to get our crazy close footwork. Now, gain is the same leverage concept, But as you see in a bind, I am angled for the thrust, right? I am able to attack my opponent. A gain doesn't set you up for an immediate thrust. This one, and you'll hear other words for this. What is this, like control or something? Again, this is just a concept. I don't care which words you use. Watch how they work. On guard. So again, remembering, weak, strong. I want more of my strong on more of their weak, right? So if I'm able to close on my opponent and bring his blade offline, boom. Now you'll notice right here, I've got more of my strong on more of his weak. But in order to gain this wall, right, I'm generating a wall of steel. And this is where people screw it up. They do this. It's not that. It's bringing it all over, making an entire wall of leverage, right? On guard. So I make this entire wall of leverage against my opponent's blade. Because they're fighting me, they don't want to do this, right? And now I'm engaging this blank third opponent that would be right next to whoever I'm fighting. If I get this far, now I've opened up my opportunity for other attacks, right? I can engage his blade, I can come in, I can close harder and try to remove his blade. It gives you options. That's one of the reasons you want to do this. It also prevents them from stabbing you. Remember, 3 outcomes in a fight, right? 2 of them you die. On guard. Now that is a gain in 4, making my crossbody coming over, gaining, right? Now notice I shift my body weight, I put my shoulder in a line with this, all of me comes down for this. When I come in for that, I commit to getting that wall, behind that wall. Got it? On guard. And again, this is a move that you will begin out of range, because I'm going to show you the next part, when it goes wrong. You can do the same concept coming into a 6. If I gain my opponent's blade, I can also force it out in a 6 direction. Got it? There we go. Again, coming over and forcing it out, making that entire committed wall to the 6. It can go either way. This is a concept, not a move. On guard. So one more time, coming over, gaining my opponent's blade. On guard, coming over, gaining my opponent's blade. Now, I'm going to change our angle a little so you can see it differently. I think you're good on guard, Jobs. Can you step back a little? I don't know if we got the room for it. Sure, thanks. And again, beginning out of range. I can enter range, and as I do, place my blade at a better angle and drop behind it, facing that third opponent. On guard. Same move on the other side, beginning out of range, coming around my opponent's blade, forcing them out, right? So again, this is a set to remove your opponent's blade and give you opportunities for other things. Play by feel, right? That was our concept we wanted to make sure we were always thinking about. And here's where that's important. On guard. If I come to get my opponent with that initial gain, and he disengages around, right? He disengages around. This is where play by feel comes in to be very important. Because if my opponent, on guard, sees that coming, and as I come in, disengages around my blade, he will be there before I finish my commitment. If I have telegraphed or he has predicted, whatever happened, right? I will not even know he's gotten there visually till it's too late. But I'm not using my eyes to guarantee this move worked. I'm feeling the sword. Got it? This is why we have good footwork. This is why we begin things out of range. So if I'm coming in and I try to get that initial gain, right? And my opponent disengages, I can, it didn't work, and immediately get out. Immediately get out. Got it? You can even build this into a concept. Should we take a low guard like I like? You can even build this into a really easy concept for baiting your opponent to go where you want them to be and being there before we get there. This is a higher level concept, okay? So I'm giving you something a little high level there, but something to think about. Again, what do you think about when you fight? How are you trying to defeat your opponent? So if he's in a low guard, like I like to fight in, right? Now, you can bind someone in a low guard, similar to how we do, coming around the top, getting that lunge to a leg, right? You can still get that good bind. So if I'm using this bind against him and he's aware of it, many people will disengage. And where do you disengage? On guard, hold your blade. Where do you disengage when someone pushes you there? Right over the top, right? That's where you have to go. So, I know this ahead of time. I've been playing against this person for a minute. I want to try to force them to go there. On guard. I am out of range, like we always begin, and again, we're a little close because of, where we're working. On guard. I'm going to get that initial movement where I come in forcing my opponent wide, expecting them to go high, playing by feel. If they stick to my sword, I will make that low bind. Try to tag him in the leg, move around, put my dagger on top. We'll get to secondaries later. Things like that, right? Okay. But if he moves, playing by feel, the second I feel him move, coming over, I snap up to guard that high angle, and now I'm ready to make my attack. Make sense? So one more time, playing by feel, right? If I'm out of range, I want to come in range, he stayed, I got the hit, right? Off arm should be ready in case he moves, on guard. If I come in range and immediately he moves, right? If I come in and I push his sword, he moves. I'm already moving to where he's gonna go because there's only one avenue he can easily get to, right? I have closed that door and I'm ready to counter strike. So there's your concept for play by feel. There's your concept for gain and bind. Now, if you have a buddy, you can make this a simple drill. On guard.
Back in my happy corner.
We're playing by feel, right? We are outside of each other's hit range. We can't even hit each other from here. All right, on guard. If I try to get my initial gain, right? And I'm gonna see if I can, on guard, see if I can get that initial gain and hold. Now I've got to hold it, I win, right? I know I've got that good gain. Now my opponent, not trying to be overly sneaky about it, is going to try to disengage when I do that. So I come in and get that gain, and I know he moved, right? On guard, I come in and get that gain. Oh, I felt him move. I got to close that avenue, right? There's just something to build that habit. You want to make this a little harder? Still out of range, still out of range. Now, I can't see. On guard, put your sword up, Jebs. Now I begin the gain, and I don't feel it, so I have to go. All right, again, sword up. There we go. And I begin the gain, don't feel it, go to the other side. That's the concept you want to work on here, because that idea of being able to play by by feeling your opponent out will always be faster than your eyes. You have to process visually differently than you process tactily. So remember to use that to your advantage. Remember to keep that as a core concept to fight from. All right, let me know how this video worked out, if you guys liked it or not. Stay safe, both when you're training and during these crazy times we live in. All right, talk to you all soon. Thank you, Jubei. Everyone give Jubei a hand. Yay.
Hey. It's me time.